In today's episode, we're going back to the mind. And now I don't need to tell you just how important your mind is, because if we extract it, take it out, what you're left with? A mess on the floor, skin, bone, tissue, all this, but it's not going anywhere. That's the obvious bit. You need the brain to operate. But something that people miss out on is their brain is that important that it really needs to be specifically designed and coded and set up in a way that helps them perform as they need to, so it can get the goals that they've got. So if you want to be this world champion in anything, racing or anything else, you've got to make sure that your mind is set up like a world champion's would be. So you act in a certain way that takes you down the path of achieving your goals. And to go even deeper than that, I want to just share with you how I coach drivers, because I've done it for years, obviously. But my angle when it comes to the mind is to help a person become mentally fit, to work on the core areas that they need to perform in order to get this dream goal that they've got. So to really show you what I'm talking about here and to demonstrate, let's look at physical fitness. So we're just talking about physical now. You need balance. It's a big area that people teach, right? Is how to get you balanced. So you've got a good balance if you're a good driver. The core's all there. It's firm. It's nice. Structure's good. Then we have agility. How flexible the body is, can you stretch, can you move quickly, your reaction times. So you've got to be quite agile. Then we have physical strength. Pretty obvious, lifting weights, getting the muscles to grow. It's a really big part. Most people only work on that. And then we have endurance, having the body that has got a good cardio, so you can do long distance stuff and train for more than an hour or so. We know these areas. The balance, the agility, the strength, and the endurance physically, we pretty much know that they're the things we need to work on. And a fitness trainer will give you a program to improve all these areas when you're a race driver. Now, I want to turn to the mind, the mental fitness, and talk about the very same areas that we talk about when we talk about fitness in the physical sense. When it comes to mind, I also like to help people have more mental balance, have more mental agility and strength and endurance. And this comes and forms kind of my science, really. The closest thing I've got to a science, which is called base mental fitness. Balance, agility, strength, and endurance. And you're teaching people how to use these four areas and how to train these four areas so they have a mind that's very specifically designed for the task in hand. So if you are a race driver, then the balance side, that's giving you the correct coding. The kind of belief system and the script that you read from, the philosophy, the matrix that you live within is actually coded in a way that is specific for a race driver. Now, if I'm working with an entrepreneur or a tennis player, I need to make sure that their internal coding, the way they see the world, the way they process things, is also aligned with reaching their goals in that sport or that sector, that industry. You're developing the person. So if I was an AI robot, I'd say, right, what would an AI robot have to believe if they were to be the ultimate entrepreneur? Okay, and you start to write the code. This is their coding. That's balance. That's getting the mind balanced and aligned with what you need to point it at. And also in balance is making sure the well-being's there, like they've got good energy, they're sleeping well, nutrition's there. So really, balance is the foundations, the fundamentals that need to be there at the core for you to get what you want. Then you've got the peripheral stuff, which is agility. When it comes to mental agility, this is more about you jumping from one, purposefully, your ability to jump from one emotion to another. So for race drivers, if you're in the car, starting to get stressed, starting to worry that the car behind is behind you, then you've got fear and worry as emotions that you're feeling, right? And then stress is right there. It's changing that to pure focus and confidence and being calm. That's the sort of mental agility I'm talking about. And also multitasking, thinking on your feet, being adaptable. That's the kind of flexible mind that you need if you want to be the ultimate race driver. Then we talk about the S in base, which is strength. Don't need to really describe this. Mental strength, being resilient, taking in all the things that happen to you as a race driver and staying mentally strong in the face of adversity. Something really big to work on in the industry and in life. And then we've got endurance. That's more down to your focus, to energy as well, energy levels, mental energy levels, and you just being able to move forward and progress over the long term. So having a training structure in place as well. So these are the areas that I really want you to work on and start to have a look at, because when I start working with drivers and actually all the way through the journey, first thing we do is we take a look at all their different mental attributes. They tell me when they're at their best, when they're at their worst, and I give them a psychometric test. And after they fill it out and we have the discussions, we can pretty much quantify how good they are in all these areas. So then as a coach, I know, right, we need to work on this driver's mental strength, or we need to work on this person's agility, because they're kind of stuck in their mindset. They're not very open. But I would say that if you really focus on your mental side, this will help you massively. To give you something practical so you can start to work on this and improve your mental fitness, I would say the first port of call is just check in with yourself. Again, visit the North Star. What is it, that thing that I'm really shooting for in 10 years' time, right? We need to get the journey first. Then what is it you want to achieve in 1 year? So you bring it a bit closer. And then thirdly, where are you right now? Because we need to paint the path, the journey, and just to remind the brain of, wow, this is the big mission that I'm taking on here, and it's not easy. And then once you see that path, take a look at yourself, a proper look at, am I coded in the right way? Is my mindset helping me achieve this massive goal that I've got? Am I wired correctly? If you really want to think about this in a way that might hit home, is think about the difference between a gaming PC and a normal laptop. You know that a gaming PC has to have a high-performing graphics card, RAM, and all these things, big memory, just because of the demand it's going to be put under. And you can do video editing on it, and online racing and gaming and all this. So it needs to be really packed with the top stuff, right? It needs to be capable, similar to you as a race driver. The laptop can do just menial things, Word documents, putting together presentations of things, but nothing too graphical, nothing too taxing. That person or that laptop's going to go through life just doing enough. You only go from a laptop to a gaming PC by training the specific areas purposefully, being very self-aware, saying, right, it's not good enough. The RAM is not big enough. I'm going to have to update this. That's what you do for yourself. So again, going back to the balance, making sure that your core base is good enough, is understanding you at your best, you at your worst, how you're viewing things, what your beliefs are, and just monitor them for now, and then change them now and then. Right, I'm going to go to this weekend, this race weekend, and I'm actually going to see it as an opportunity. Say if your engine's down, right? You're off the pace, and you're thinking, right, I'm going to go into this race weekend. I could have the kind of viewpoint where life is not fair. This is rubbish. People are going to start to think I'm no good. And you go into the race weekend like that, with that kind of coding, looking through them glasses, I think it's not going to play out very well. But if you're going into that situation knowing that this is not the track for you, the engine's down, right, what questions give you a different coding, different way of seeing things, perspective? What can I get out of this weekend? I'm in this situation. I can't change it. How can I get the most out of this car, out of this race, out of this qualifying? What have I got to do to get myself higher than what the car can actually give me? Slipstream, warm the tires up right, make sure I've got good track position, and make sure my driving is on point. This is the same situation, but the driver's approaching it in a different way. That's what I mean by balance. You have to have your mind seeing things in a way that help you. So then you get the beliefs that will help you. It's a big circle. I hope this is making sense. And then you think about the agility. How was I in the last few race weekends with my emotions? My emotional intelligence, going from one emotion to another, getting myself in the peak state. Basically, when going into the race weekend or into a race, I need to be switched on at my best. Calm, confident. How good are you at that? And then when you were not very good, how well did you bring it back, or did you stay there forever stuck? That's your agility. You can score this, by the way. Out of 10, how did I do last race weekend? How was my coding? How was my agility? Also strength. See how strong you've been. Have you been mentally weak? Have you been letting things get to you all the time? And you've just been folding and feeling sorry for yourself and going down that road? Or have you been strong? Again, grade yourself out of 10. Endurance. How's your focus been in the car? Have you been laser focused in the zone, basically more your subconscious rather than your conscious brain rattling around. Did you have mental energy throughout the whole weekend? Score yourself. I want you to be stupidly self-aware of where you're at in these 4 areas: balance, agility, strength, and endurance. And then come back from the next race weekend if you feel like you need a bit more intel. Score yourself, see which ones you need to work on, and then we start working. You build a plan, you get a coach, you say, right, I need to really build mental strength. Go on YouTube, look at videos that help you do this. Some of mine do, not all of them, because I don't really share that much on that, but I will from now on, because that's what I really train. Maybe you need more endurance. Maybe you need more mental energy, so you're thinking my diet's not good enough, or I'm not sleeping well enough. All this needs to take your focus, because it's at the center of everything you're going to do. If your mind is not operating well enough as it should, as it could, you're going to be underperforming. And if it's not designed for the specific task that you have in mind, which are basically the small missions you've got to complete the big quest to the North Star, you're wasting your time. You're just going to be self-sabotaging all the time. So I want you to take this seriously. I want you to start to delve into the mind a bit deeper. It doesn't need to be difficult, complicated. You don't need to go and get a PhD to understand this stuff. You know you more than anyone else in the world if you're honest enough. So review how you've been. Remind yourself what you need to be and develop the mind through mental fitness training with purposeful strategies and techniques and exercises that help you build up the balance, the agility, the strength, and the endurance.